Geez, we had some technical difficulties. So let's see if this works. Again, I'm not too sure what happened. There we go. Okay, let's see if this. Sorry, it was like weird. Was that my? I think it was my Wi-Fi because like the whole thing was just like not working. I have no idea what was going on there. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. That's the life, the remote life, the
I
virtual.
know, right? Oh my God. I was just sitting there. I'm like, what happened? Never happened to me before.
Okay.
So sorry to cut you off. But maybe if you want to, I think we were talking sort of a bit about your experiences, being inside and how that kind of, curbed your own thinking.
Yes. So, well, like I said, when I was younger, just being in there in a week, and not even more than, like I said, not even more than a week. Just seeing how it is. I compared just freedom. I just all I could think about was freedom,
Mm,
and like I don't know. I feel like there's no real rehabilitation inside. Like it's just there to do time. There's no real like you know finding out, how did somebody get here? How do you prevent that or how do you work on that? Not like that therapy kind of mental kind of stuff.
mm,
And right away, I'm just like, that's not here. Like, there's no point of being here. I want to get out and I want to have my freedom. And by any means, if like I said, I had to take a record and plead guilty to my charges to get out immediately, then so be it. Just didn't want to be in there. And I ever since then, when I got out, like I said, I didn't change right away. It took time, but I I was so cautious. And one thing I try to say is that I think they try. There's like whenever a person gets in trouble or an incident occurs, if it's a person of color, they try so hard to like they'll find any reason to bring someone in or to give them charge them on something. And I didn't want to give them that reason. I didn't want to like I still did risk, but I was so cautious. I changed. I completely changed. It's funny, the organization is his name is Keep Six, right? And like from that point on, it was like Keep Six. I did not want to risk anything. I didn't want to even jaywalk, to be honest. I didn't want to allow them to give that opportunity. You're not taking me in. I seen how it is and it's not for me. I'm staying out no matter what.
right, right. And I hear that. I hear that so often in terms of like just speaking with so many individuals and when they get inside and they understand, um, when they see what it's like on the inside. I mean, I've spoken to a few lawyers where, especially for certain institutions, where there's a overcrowding and, just issues in general within the on ranges. There's so many individuals who are so quick to take a plea deal just to, I need to get out. I can't stay here. I need to get out. And I've heard that on so many different occasions.
And
I'm just looking at some of the comments that we have here. Jojo saying no preventable measures, no transitional programs. We've got someone else saying you're a beacon of hope and change for many now, Ryan.
I hope so.
Natasha, the criminal justice system needs more of what happened to you rather than what did you do.
hmm Yeah.
And then, yeah, Jojo saying don't give them any reason to stop us and lock us up. It's 100%.
Yeah, exactly. I think someone asked as well. Someone asked if they missed it. What I was in for. I got arrested for assault and theft. Like I said, me and my boy at that time, we were letting music, all that get to us, and we were doing, making the wrong decisions, trying to rob people. People, innocent people that didn't deserve it. Just wrong mindset. Everything was wrong. But there's not, like I said, in these communities sometimes what we lack the most is guidance, and especially when we're young. We're so young. I feel like our minds, they say our minds are like sponges, and
Mm,
like we're not there watching somebody. Like I'm not saying that there was male figures in my life that did work, that worked hard, that tried to show me the way. But the people I was with most of the time, the people that I felt related to me, the people that I felt that were like me, young like me, that understood me, we were all
mm,
in a position, and we were all just, like I said, just soaking up whatever was out there in media, taking over. Think about that time. I'm 28 now. When I was like teenage, that's like when everything hit, like YouTube,
mm.
phones, everything. So you had music on you 24/7 now. You didn't, it was like, and that music will do something to you. I can tell you, late night, you're bumping that stuff in your ear, and it influence you. You know, it'll make a change. It does something.
Yeah. Yeah. You said something with regards to people of color and them finding a reason or any reason to lock someone up. So I know when you were first arrested, you were released out on bail.
Hmm.
Um, but I also know that you were breached
Yeah.
on that bail. What was the condition that was breached?
So my condition that was breached was that the person that I accused the assault and theft with the first time, I was not allowed to be with them, and pretty much we went to the same school, right? So that was literally impossible. We tried, and I think it lasted for a week. And then one time we went to go get lunch out to, like I and we didn't even go together. I went to go get lunch and he was just there already. You know, we bumped up and we just said, you know, how are you doing? What's up? And literally, and it's that school was Fraser. The school is located in Jenna Finch. The school is in North Finch, right in front of the police station. So there was a cop, I guess, walking there, taking to go get his lunch break, whatever, and somebody was smoking around there, and then they assumed we were all smoking. They took our names and everything, and that was it. That's it. I got breached the you know my conditions, and they took me in the second time.
Hmm. So your condition was a no contact with your co-accused,
Hmm.
which is happens pretty regularly. I've seen that before. But in an incident where your co-accused is someone that goes to school with you and
Hmm.
that you possibly also have class with, um, hmm, there's a disconnect there
Hmm.
because it's like you said, almost impossible to really have that no contact in place.
They set us up for failure. It's like they knew, you know. First of all, they're friends, they're close, all right. But now they go to school together, and if you think about it, look at that area. There's not options to go eat lunch. That's pretty much the only option. Like put a McDonald's, a Burger King, whatever. Give me some options, and you could say, you know, these guys are choosing to be around each other.
Hmm.
There's only one spot. It's Tasty's, the patty spot. Besides that, there's not really much options. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Or like that to me right away. Then you see all the incidents on the news, on the media, and everything. It just makes you realize. You know what I mean? Like there's so much worse going on, and yet they got time, you know, to do stuff. You know, bring in people like me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't. Instead of like, I'm young. Get me the way I saw it. Get me some help. You know, get me. You know, help me read. Like, what's going? Why am I like around this person so much, or why am I in the situations that I'm in? What like? Let's work on that instead of just bringing me in again, and you make me part of the system, right?
Yeah, 100%. Look at alternative resources,
Hmm.
alternative means.
Hmm.
So after coming out, you obviously went through the transition of really just again trying to figure out what it is that you wanted to do and go from there. And that kind of brings us to where you are now.
Yeah.
So how did we I guess the best thing is, and I know you mentioned this before in terms of you being in school right now and what you're going to school for, but how did you come to that decision?
Um, I guess you know, to be honest, the criminal record that I got, um, once it got erased, my options opened up. Options like you know, it was presented to me that hey, you can go back. I was working construction at that time, and I thought that was my life. That you know, this is what I got to deal with for the rest of my life. This is it for me. And I'm stuck. No, I had never thought I'd get my criminal record, you know, pardoned. I did, and when I did, it was like new life again. I really didn't see it like that. I didn't expect it either. But the moment it did, like as soon as okay, you got your pardon, and I asked those questions because I just want to make sure, like, hey, can I apply for a job here now? You know, can I without a record? You know, can I go to school now? All these things and everything just worked out because I wanted to go to school. It was always in my head to go to school, always. But I mean maybe I'm wrong, but the way I saw it, my mindset was, what am I going to go to school for, and how am I going to get a career if I got a criminal record? Where am I going to get a career with a criminal record? It does not add up. Like I want to go to school, but now I got this criminal record that got tagged on me when I was 19, and I didn't see that. I didn't see it happening. I never thought I'd get into school. It took my friends in the community, you know, like to make me aware of an opportunity to get our credits, you know, to finish the high school so we can get into post secondary. And if it wasn't for him, I think about it so much that day that he told me, hey, there's this program, there's a school that helps you. They're gonna help us. It's in the area. You know what I mean? The day if that didn't happen, I would still be kind of stuck. I'd still be a lot behind. You know what I mean? Because yeah, sure, I changed. I got my own place. I was working, full time, but there was still a lot of connections to my past life. Whether there was no direction. Just because you're getting money, it doesn't mean that things are better.
Mm.
So there was still no direction there, and so once I guessed that criminal record, that opened up the option for school, and I took it. And my friend as well, like I said, letting me know of that program. Like I said, when you're older and you don't have your credits, I feel like I always used to think me and that same friend, because we were in the same position. We always used to think it's impossible. We're not gonna get our credits. We're not gonna fit. It's done. It's too late now. As we got older and older, it was like, no, no, there's no program. There's no more school. We're too old now. We're 22. We're 23. We're 24. It doesn't work.
Mm.
And we found it. We found that program. That program was available. It's just it. And you know what I realized too is that a lot of times these programs, and I talk to the leaders of the programs today, these programs get erased. They don't last long, right? And it's like this is your window, this is your chance. And if you don't get it, and if you don't take advantage of it, then you're not. Sorry, one sec. I'm just gonna switch rooms.
Yep, no problem. No problem.
Actually, no, it's okay. I'm okay. So that was pretty much it. And I took my chance to go to school right away.
Mm-hmm.
The program was called. I just see a question right there from Trizzy. The program was called Y2P. It's connected with Seneca. It's a youth to program. Uh, that's what it is. It helps. If you know anybody that hasn't finished their high school and you're missing a couple of credits, maybe even a lot of credits. But this program just gets you the main ones, so you get into college as soon as possible.
Right.
And no, it's not canceled yet. Thank God, it's still running. They've called me. They've asked me, can you come like do some speaking, like you know what I mean, like vouch, promote the program and say that it's working, and because it is. Like everyone that was in my class in that program at that time, all doing something now. And yeah, so the fact that she reached out to me, she told me, yeah, they're thinking about bringing, taking away the funding for it and everything. It's disturbing. It bothers me. You know what I mean? These are things that change people. It changed my life, and now you want to take it away. And people need this. I'm not saying just because I needed it, other people need it. But even if they don't, I want it to be available to them so they have that opportunity, that option. You know what I mean? Whether they just at what point in their life they decide to take it, maybe when they're 22, maybe when older, it doesn't matter, because it took me a while to realize these things. Just make sure that option is there for them.
Right. Yeah. And it's so sad because there's so many programs that are so beneficial and that are really meant to help individuals, but it comes down to a lack of funding.
Yeah. It's,
And I've seen that time and time again even within Keep Six with nonprofit or our nonprofit, but even with others, like there's so many programs that are really meant to just hone in and help individuals build the skill sets that are necessary. But the funding that's provided for community programs, for educational programs, there's not as much funding that's really provided for community resources. And
mm-hmm.
it's the community that suffers overall.
Yep.
Right?
There's this saying I hear a lot at school is people falling between the cracks. That bothers me because I feel like like the people in my community. Those are the people that I grew up with. We're the ones falling between the cracks. Why? Because they don't want to do the bare minimum, or they want to take away, meaningful programs that change lives. Just because I don't know, they don't see it on their scale, or it's not bringing in, it's not hitting the target that they expect or whatever. It's not about that. You can't tell somebody, hey, here's a program, change your life right now. No, leave the program there, let it do what it has to do. And even with time, I think it gains, that legitimacy. You hear from people, hey, like, see if that program, I want to talk to people. I'm like, hey, if you're missing your credits, if you want to talk to me, I'll tell you. Here's this Y2P program. I'll tell you, I'll connect you to them, show you where you go, sign up and everything. And then over time, it continues. The word to mouth continues from one community to the other community. And now we all have that opportunity to benefit from this program, to change our lives from this program. But you want to let these programs run on 2-3 years. And that's something I've learned about in the social service worker field as well. They don't give these programs much time. It's like you got to hit a target, or you got to prove that, the program is making an impact, or if not, they take it away. And it's wrong. It's like they're giving us a time limit. Like, here, change your life now. We put this program out there. This is your chance. If you don't change it now, we gotta wait for the next program to be, presented. It's wrong.
Mm. We have someone who's asking, how do people deal with the anger and resentment after the system fails them?
That's the worst part. That's the worst part. I think that's when it pushes you to like that other direction. You feel like there's barriers. There's no way for me to go the right route. So I gotta go the wrong route. I gotta go. That's the only route, or I'm gonna stay stuck in the middle. And you see, and like I said, everybody plays. I think everything plays a part. The people in your community, what you watch, what you look, what you listen to. Um, you see everybody making moves, whether it's a good move or a bad move. Everybody's going in a direction, and you don't want to be the. I think the worst thing is you don't want to be the person stuck in the middle. And I think I think everybody's always looking for like some sort of path. They don't want to be stagnant. Like, they're trying to fulfill themselves, find that identity. And sometimes I guess when you don't see things going right, you're trying to make things go right, and they're not going right.
Mm.
What other option do I have? And you take that bad route, and you start making wrong decisions and bad decisions, right?
Right. Hannah is asking, did you ever witness or hear about corrupt CEOs or staff when you were inside?
To be honest, when I was inside, I wasn't in there too long, so I can't really say that, right? But you see treatment, right? You see the treatment of, this person gets treated better than the other person, right? And it's not always about color, sometimes it's about, I guess, like just like superiority, being tough or how big you are or whatever, recognition, and how many guys are like that in there? How many top dogs can there be in one place? You know, so it just goes to like it feels like if you're not a top dog, you're not getting treated any special or any better or anything else. And besides that, everyone else gets treated the same. Only the top guys get these special privileges and stuff like that.
Hmm. Hmm. So you've been doing your placement with Keep Six now for this semester. What are some of your biggest takeaways, some of the things that you've learned, some of the biggest insights that you've gained?
From the
Just
organization.
from what you, yeah, like just from what you've been doing thus far in terms of like the various things that you've been working on.
Okay, so from in a school perspective, I want to say that like what I learned the most or something that stuck with me so much is the fact that there's so many programs and services and resources out there on so many levels in so many sectors, homelessness, uh, employment, just so many different sectors. There's resources and there is services, right? And they try to make up for that, with the lack of income. They try to make up for that with those things. But it's like you got to go out there and find these resources and services, and you got to go through a process. You got to sign up, you got to apply, you got to prove that you're work like that you need it. That it's a process. But once if you're willing to put your pride aside, and if you're lucky enough to find these resources and services and these programs, they benefit and they help people. But now what I'm disturbed and what bothers me is that like people use these services and they use these programs and they use these, but not everybody and not the people that need them the most,
Mm.
right? And it's like the word is not out there. Like I said, I think there's this. I don't know if it's just me. Like I would, but if I'm gonna put it out there, it's the only one that feels the same way. It's like when you feel in your neighborhood, like you don't feel like there's that help. You don't feel like, hey, I can go to this community center and they're gonna help me get a job where I want to get a job. I can go to this community center and they're gonna help me get into school and do what I have to do in school. Um, Even just simple things like things that are good for the well-being. Recreational activities. Little things, whether it's playing sports. Having little group meetings, peer group support groups. Um, you don't know about these things, and yet they're so beneficial, and
Mm.
they could change someone's life. And I think that was like the main thing I took away from there. For example, what I took away from the organization from Keep Six is what your service, your programs. I wish that at my age, when I was going through all of that I was going through, I came across Keep Six, or that Keep Six was around, and that I knew what was going on. And I, I could tell you right now, I would have went and signed up. I would have came to Keep Six and I would have asked, please, yes, I want to go on and get involved in the programs and the services. I would have done it. And there's not that many organizations like Keep Six. There's community centers, like I said, and there's a lot of other kind of supports. But when there's not a lot. The people that are running it, that's what I learned from Keep Six is they have this. The people that I've talked to so far, you know yourself, Ricky Atkinson, um, Jada. These are people that I don't know. I feel like when you're somebody that has, you're more credible. That you can relate, that you've been through the experience.
Mm,
There, the change is really there. And I spoke with this. I remember with one of them. Like the people running schools and the people running, these systems and, these high systems, schools, for example, the criminal justice, they're all people like, dominant race. And I don't, I think this pushes, I think it pushed me away. I'm not like a community center can help, can offer everything. But when you see that it's not your people or it's people that you can't, like I said, when you're young, you're naive. So when you're older, you don't take that into mind. I guess you put that stuff aside. But when you're young and you see the people are not like you or they don't understand you, they don't come from the same situations that you come from or stuff like that, it pushes you away. You drift away from it. You don't see it as help, you know.
they're not relatable.
Yeah, not at all. And I don't feel like that pushes. Like I said, it's all there. The help is there for people in the communities, but we don't go to it. We there's also so much too. Like even in like I guess in the community, like there's like the stigmatization. Like if you go get help or if you need help, that you're weak or that that you're vulnerable, and that's horrible. You know what I mean? But that's just the kind of like that stuff that goes around. That kind of mindset, and then you're too scared to go ask for help or you're ashamed to ask for help, right?
Mm.
I don't. It's hard. It's hard. I guess we need. Something I would wish to get out of this program. What I'm hoping to do, coming forward in the future, is to get more people to speak about like, getting help. It's like like it's not a bad thing. Like it's something cool. Like it's something good. It's something. It's not something to be ashamed of. You
Right.
know, to say that yeah, I was here, but I changed and now I'm doing this. I don't know. I think there needs. I want to find a way. If we need to find more people to come on, like hopefully, I don't think I can make a big difference, but if I could somehow, someone else can see this and say, you know, man, he did it. He kind of explained how he did it, and like I think I can do it too, or there is a way. Then, then I feel like so many times another thing when people look up to others, they skip the little story, the first steps. People tell you, I got to this that, now I'm doing this that, and you're just like, damn, I can't do that, or that's too much, and they skip, or they don't want to tell people about the little process, what it took to get there, right?
Mhm.
And those are the things that help us. We need to know how to start off. Like it's good to see that you made it there, and we want to get there with you. But if we don't know how to start off, if you don't show us, if there's not a way of service, or if there's not people, mentors telling us, this is the route, how are we supposed to find that way? I feel like I found that on my own, but luckily, like I said, fortune, luck. I came across, like I said, my friend, that program,
Right,
everything. It all played. It all came into, it all aligned itself.
right, right. There's so many amazing valid points in what you're saying. I'm just looking through the comments. Um, let's see. Hannah's saying the wrong people running things for sure. Raising awareness in the community should be a top priority. Um, we're proud of you, bro. Preach. Keep working, brother. Every bit is a big brother. Even the Hellcat engine needs a starter. It's true. Share the struggle on the road to success. That's a big one because a lot of times you see the before and you see the after, but you don't see the during, the
Yeah.
process to get there, right? And so for some people, they'll start doing something and it's like, well, I'm not getting to where they're at. Like, this is so much harder. I can't do this, right? And they don't realize that there is a process and you've got to trust the process. Like Jojo saying, each one teach one. And it's true,
Hmm.
right? What's knowledge if you can't share it with others?
Yeah. And like you said, like, that's a big thing. What you just said right now, like the before and after. No one, like I said, no one wants to talk about the baby steps, the first steps. Like you need, like those are the important steps. It's kind of like I look at the service, the program, the Gangster Tuition program, right? They offer the trap first, and then they offer the Esprit,
Yep.
right? And that those are not forced, right? I guess it's I'm not sure if it's optional, right? But that's first. You can't just put someone out in employment. Okay, we'll get you employment. We'll get you into school. But let's address the others, like the other issues as well. Because if not, you're gonna get sidetracked. Something's gonna interrupt or get in the way, and become a barrier or come in the way of what your progress, right? And that's such it's things like that. You need to address what else is going on. You can get someone a good job. You can line someone up with a good job, right? But if let's then we need to know, because does this person, have a shelter over their head? Can they get to work, every day? Do they have transportation? Are they eating to be healthy enough to make it? We those are things that we need to consider, right?
Right. And you know what? It's so for those who don't know, so Gangster Tuition is a program that Keep Six offers, and it ideally the end result is to help individuals gain employment, have some sort of sustainable employment. But prior to us putting individuals or partnering them up with their various when it comes to getting employment, or for those that want to go into schooling, there's a mandatory 6-week program, which is what you were mentioning, TRAP, that individuals go through first. And that's to really look at building the necessary skill sets for what their next steps are.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we look at someone who's been inside for years, or if we look at a youth who maybe dropped out of school and has been in and out, you can't just take somebody who's just been inside and then put them into work right away or put them into school right away. There needs to be a process to sort of do that, to go through that transitional phase, to learn the skill sets that are required, to hone in on those skill sets. And it's provided by individuals who've been in similar situations, individuals who have been in the system, individuals who know what it's like to come out and not really know what the next steps are. And I think that's one of the things that you're mentioning in terms of having individuals that are relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and not to knock anyone that has an academic background, because I think it's amazing and great, but for individuals who've kind of just pursued academics and don't have the lived experience, it's very hard to build rapport. It's very hard to build trust. And if the people that you're trying to help aren't able to relate or have that sort of relationship to feel like you have some level of understanding, it's very hard to get through that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And something that crossed my mind when you just brought it up, because there's nothing to knock the people with education, with the academic side of it, right? But when you bring those two together, what team, a person with lived experience, a person with that academic knowledge, it's not to say that what I don't believe it's one-on-one. It's like I'm the one that's gonna help you. You know what I mean? We work together. You know what I mean? All of us are gonna work together. Not I'm helping you or we both are helping you. No, we're working together to help you accomplish your goals. The goals that you set. Now we're gonna set together for you. And I feel like there's not a lot of organizations that take that approach, that lived experience approach, and that is something that when I see, I guess that sparked my passion. I soon realized the way that Keep Six works. I'm like, they're doing it a different way, and they're doing it a way that I feel people in the community, really, really need. It's a different approach that people they need in their organization.
Like the yin and the yang behind you. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. It takes two.
Oh man, I'm actually at my cousin's house right now and I needed a space to do it. And this was the only space I could find. And I was like, the yin and yang is behind me. I'm like, this is perfect. So, yes, exactly like the yin and the yang behind me. These are all facts, but my experience is if you have that criminal background, they don't want you working with troubled youth or even letting you share your mistakes. This is true. And it all depends on the organization as well. Like I feel like there's certain organizations that are really working and are more guided, and especially now as of recent, I've actually noticed certain organizations that look specifically within the job title, they're looking specifically for individuals with lived experience, specifically for individuals who have been incarcerated, because that shift is happening now where they're realizing um, we need more relatable mentors, more authentic mentors, organic mentorship, right? And so over the last, I'd say maybe over the last month and a half to 2 months now, I've been getting quite a few job postings where it will specifically say looking for someone who's been incarcerated or looking for someone who's had experience with this, that, and the other. So I do see that shift happening now, but we need more of it.
Yeah.
Quickly, what is something that you would change? Whether it be within the system itself, within the jail system, or I know you've spoken a lot about programs as well, but what is something that you would change? Because I know when we talk, you have some of the most craziest, but like brilliant ideas. And sometimes I'm like, holy crap, that could work. But
Yeah.
nobody says them. You think very outside the box. So, what's some of those ideas that you have?
Well, it's kind of on the spot, right? It kind of takes something to like spark it, for me to think that way. But just off the bat, I guess what I'm so bothered with, something I want to see change for sure, is the advertisement of everything, of an organization, of a resource, of resources and services, but basically an organization to get the support of the government, the media, to have that full, I don't know, that full front like support where it's everywhere. Like I don't know what's so hard to see. Like, 'cause the way you see Nike everywhere, the way you see McDonald's everywhere. I'm not saying it has to be Keep Six, but I want to see an organization everywhere. You know what I mean? I want to see an organization that helps people, that takes a different route. In terms, like I said, promoting. There's so much different angles. Like I think I would really, I feel like there's artists, there's athletes, right, that have experience similar to what, are the life and the conditions in the communities. And I feel like if they heard, if we can, I feel like if I had that support from an organization, like, hey, reach out. How can I say it? If I'm reaching out to an athlete or an influencer or someone, like, and from my account, even if I can write them a proposal, like a perfect written out proposal, it might not get their view or might not get their attention. But now, how about if I do it from an organization's website, right? From an organization's email? Maybe I can get these, and I just want to people to speak out, like I said before, speaking out about changing, about getting help in a
Mm-hmm.
good way. And it's kind of like, and something I look back on is I remember when DeMar DeRozan played here for the Raptors and he came out about his mental health issues, right? For some reason, I feel like people were, the people around me that I knew were so much more open to coming out and talking about I'm not saying DeMar DeRozan sparked that, but maybe, maybe, him doing it sparked another person, and that person sparked it was a chain reaction. Not all of a sudden, not it's still a problem. Guys speaking out about mental health and stuff like that, but it's happening more. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it took DeMar DeRozan did it. Now I think about, like, there's so many artists. I don't know who, but there's so many artists. Like, you can get one of them. Get them. Like, let's get them to talk. Let's get them to say something. You know what I mean? People will look at getting help. I feel like people will start seeing, like, getting help. You know, doing work on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's cool. It's a cool thing. It's a good thing. It's not nothing to be ashamed of. And that's something, I definitely would want to do. I'm hoping to do, is get the attention of others. You know what I mean? People that have, not even just athletes and artists, just people that have entrepreneurs that have come a long way. Like, share your story. My story is, I don't, sometimes I think maybe it's a big story. Maybe it's a simple story. Maybe, who knows? It's not over yet. Right. But,
Exactly.
just if you could share your story, I feel like they can change. If you tell somebody about the directions that you took or the path that you took, it can open their eyes and give them, open them to new options, to new ideas in their lives, and then for their futures. So that's something I guess when I said think about the box, I hope that was something
Yeah,
around.
it's amazing. I'm looking at Troy saying Tupac said it sparked the mind that changed the world. Natasha, that's why representation in all aspects matters. Problem in the hood about speaking about mental health always seems to make people feel weak when it's nothing bad at all. That is huge. Yep. It's a big step to helping anyone. Hannah, what kind of work are you trying to do when you graduate?
Um, that's you know what, I'm so happy I've come to like realize these things now that I'm about to graduate, because I did not have no idea before. I kind of have an idea now. I want to do peer support groups. I want to, that's something I really want to do, mainly want to do. And I guess I would say advocating. Just yeah, advocating, finding like real issues, and one that I'm passionate about. And I think that's where like I'm realizing it's kind of there in the criminal justice system, where like I this is a place where there's change needed in so many sections and so many places. But for some reason the criminal justice system, I guess when you're in that position, I feel like the people in those positions need the most support compared to everyone, you know, that's out here. I'm not saying out here people don't need support, but we have, you know, more available to us. You know, we're fortunate compared to inside. And I feel like once you're inside, you know, your life should not be over, or that shouldn't be the, you know, the end of it. And I would just so much that can be done. You know, people can spend their time and do, you know, do their time, but rehabilitate. You know what I mean? Not just, you know, let their life go away, their social life, their, you know, their literacy, that these things don't have to drift away or, you know, get lost just because you are in, you know, doing time.
Right. It's amazing. That is amazing. Jojo saying, Ryan, your story is empowering others and will inspire. Touches home because us from the hood, we had it rough with the criminal justice system. Yeah, that's a fact. Amazing.
Shout
Well,
out.
Ryan, I want to thank you for sharing the space with me. I want to thank you for sharing your story and being an inspiration for others and empowering others, because, like you said, your story is not done yet. There's still so much more to go, right? So I'm looking forward to really just being able to observe and watch your journey, especially now that you're graduating. A pre-congrats to you for graduating. I'm gonna should give your congrats shout out early, but like I'm so hyped to see like your journey and where you go from here. Um, because it's big. It's big. You, like I said, like your ideas are consistently flowing, and I think you have so much that you're bringing to the community and what you want to do in terms of change. So I want to say a huge shout out to you, and I'm seeing so many people that are shouting you out as
I want
well.
I gotta give them a shout out. You know, honestly, like I said, it's a good thing to see the support. You know what I mean? People, like I said, support. Let's support each other. Let's positivity. Let's push positivity on each other. Forget, you know, that whole misconception. You know that you gotta, you know, that you gotta be this way or that way, and follow this, and to be yourself, be happy, stay positive. You know, that's I want it. I want it for all of us, not just for me, for all of us.
100%. All right. Well, thank you again for sharing the space. I want to thank everybody that's been on here, for all of your comments. You got Ryan. We're excited for this journey you are on. Keep Six will always be a home for you as well. That's a fact. I mean, I think I've told
Thanks.
you that already. That I've said you always have a home with us. That's 100%. And I'm
Loving.
so amped to see what you've been doing thus far. But yeah, a huge shout out to you for all that you're doing. And yeah, thank you for sharing the space with us.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me,
Okay.
Rachel. Keep six.
Of course, anytime. Have a good night.
You too. Take care, everybody. Thank you.